much.
No.
And welcome back to the Investor Shed podcast. My name's Nick Beveridge. I'm here with Jeremy Kitchen, who I haven't seen in a while. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today, Nick?
Pretty damn good. Yeah. I wasn't expecting to see you this morning. You were like, hey, sorry, I can't make the podcast. And then I sent you a text like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
And then I put my phone away, just joking. I didn't think you. And then you showed up. Yeah. And now we're here.
Well, you tell me to stick to my appointment, even though I asked very nicely if I could not do it. And then I felt bad. So here we are. And we're going to be talking about, I think, pertinent issues, at least for me, business burnout.
Business burnout. Yeah. Has anybody ever felt burnt out in their business?
Everyone on the other side of the screen, no one is like, nope, I've never felt burnt out.
Never.
No, I'm going to turn this off right now.
How do you deal with burnout, Jeremy? Or are you just trying to figure that out now?
I think I'm kind of just trying to figure it out now. So before we dive into me, let's just kind of talk about business burnout in general, I think. What you should be doing. And obviously, as self-employed people as us, we're kind of the forefront of our business. You have a team, of course.
Yeah. So I guess I wouldn't say like this is what you should do, but I'll tell you what I do.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Helps me.
This is
I just start leveraging more when I'm starting to feel burnt out. Instead of giving up or quitting or just starting freaking out on people, which I've done in the past. And I found like those things don't work as well as trying to. This is the time when you're starting to feel a lot of pressure and burnout. This is the time to start strategically, like immediately implementing some leverage.
Sure.
And typically when you are getting burnt out, you're typically making more money because you're busier.
Yeah.
And it's the perfect time to slide something in my experience, it's the perfect time to just start hiring stuff out, or the people that you do have, maybe give them more responsibilities, but reach around, your vicinity and ask for help.
So what you're saying is rather than freak out on people, that you should leverage.
Well, so I have experience freaking out on people in the past whenever I felt burnt out. Mm-hmm. And it feels good in the moment. And then immediately after, you're just like, oh, I just freaked out on something.
Oh, I was a real dick.
And I can't take that back. And now things are worse.
Sure.
Yeah.
When's the last time you felt burnt out in your business?
Well, it was probably, around, late 2022.
Okay.
And that was when I had way too many projects going on. Mm-hmm. Not enough help, not enough money, and not enough time in the day. And I was starting to really not enjoy my job.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2022, when you had a lot of projects going on, you didn't have the help you needed, and you were and you were still taking on things.
Yeah, not as much. I mean, I was taking on a lot in early 2022 and late 2021, but then I wasn't able to get as much. And if nobody knows what I'm talking about real estate projects.
Right.
So
yeah,
fix and flips, new construction builds, rental properties that I bought that needed work, just buying and acquiring real estate and not necessarily finishing any of it.
Right. Yeah.
And continuing to take on more projects and without sufficient capital and without sufficient help.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes that's how you learn.
Yeah.
You don't know your limits until you've hit them.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
And specifically with burnout, the cool thing about it is you can stop.
You can. Yeah, it does. It's not necessarily the best tactic, but that is one option.
Yes. And that's almost where I'm at right now in my business. Last year about this time, I was probably doing 2 shoots a day.
Which is pretty busy.
Pretty busy still. I think right now I'm averaging 3 to 5.
3 to 5 a day.
A day.
Yeah.
And just the schedule's been so wild lately where I'm going all over North Idaho, Eastern Washington. I was in Hope, Idaho, and I've been in Bonners Ferry and Newport and St. Mary's and Moscow. And I'm like,
you're all over the region.
Right.
Okay, so all those places you mentioned are what, 1 to 2 hours away?
Yeah. What's funny is I was talking to Sebastian over at Wild Buffalo Media the other day. I'm like, have you had any shoots in Kootenai County? Or is it just me who's all over the place? And he said he's had a lot out of Kootenai County as well. So I'm like, okay, all right, cool. It's not just me that's just getting all these weird oddball jobs.
Yeah. Well, there's our MLS. A lot of it just has to do with our MLS and our base is here in Coeur d'Alene. Yeah. But it expands to all of North Idaho and down almost as far as Moscow. Moscow actually becomes a different MLS, but it gets down to Santa pretty much and stops there.
I've shot there.
Yeah. and then we go, all the way north too.
Yeah.
All the way to the border of Canada. even though there is another MLS up there, but we've intermingled those and we can take listings.
There's Bonner and Boundary, but those all like incorporate into the Coeur MLS, right?
Yep. Just like that listing that you shot for me last week in Bonner's Ferry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an hour and a half away. Mm-hmm. That's one of my listings. I mean, most of my listings are out of town too. I mean, we just took one in Kellogg.
Yep.
That's 45 minutes away.
Got you going for Monday on that one.
They're not all right here in Coeur d'Alene.
Right.
And
that's okay.
That's just because there's more of a population outside of Coeur d'Alene than in Coeur d'Alene.
For sure. I think my problem I'm having, and I say this as a problem when I really don't mean it as a problem. Like, doing these shoots is putting food on my table.
Uh-huh.
Right. And I'm never going to be the one to complain when I'm eating, right?
Yep.
I'd rather complain when there's no work, and if I'm complaining there's no work, I'm doing a lot of things wrong in my business.
Do you think you're panicking or because you maybe you can't meet the expectations that you've laid out there as far as like next day availability? Like you shoot one day and then the next day you're delivering the product?
Sure.
Is that part of the stress?
That's not really part of the stress. So right now the photos are going out early next morning. Like, there's no problem with that.
Because you've outsourced that, right?
I've outsourced most of it.
Okay.
I still, when the photos come back in, even though like take last night, for example, I got back from Moscow, Idaho, which is 2 hours away at about 6:30 p.m. I still have to get this photos uploaded. I still have to get them sent off.
Uh-huh.
And then I have to find an editor that does 12-hour turnaround.
Okay.
Right.
So you're looking for different editors every time? You're not using the same people?
I'm using the same people most of the time, but in the off chance my people aren't available because they have capacity as well.
Okay.
Right. So the later I submit a shoot, the further down in queue I get.
Uh-huh.
And it says average 12 hours, right? So if I'm like, okay, if it's 7 p.m., like I need to get the stuff sent off like right now.
Okay.
In order to get these photos back by 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So I can download, put them out, and like apply the finishing touch, right?
Yep.
And that's okay. I got everything done with that. It just I think what I'm having problem with right now is saying no to people.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to say no because if you say no, they there's a good likelihood they'll start using somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
this is
not come back.
Right. And this is it's part of the gambit, of course. Like, I'm available or I'm not, but I need to start kind of almost understanding that like it's okay if I let a ball drop.
Yeah. Instead of saying no, could you just offer alternatives?
I offer alternatives all the time.
Hey, actually, can you make this time or this time work?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do that with you guys too. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
You guys are been particular on when you get a listing or a flip done and you want to go. Obviously, every agent wants to go like live as soon as possible, of course, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And
everybody's eager.
Right. Which totally makes sense. I want to make sure that I have capacity to do that. I never just say no. I always say like, I can't get you on a Wednesday, but like, looks like I can get you on Friday. Would that work? Or like something like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes
and most of the time it does.
Most of the time it does.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time you can offer an alternative.
And then even that, so like they start, since I take on so many shoots, they start bleeding into the weekends lately.
Okay.
Which is fine. Like, I mean, like, I'm happy working 6-7 days a week, but then when you're doing 3 to 4 shoots a day, 6 to 7 days a week, you're pumping out a lot of photos.
Yeah. So what's the one thing that you think, whether it's scary or not, that would help you right away?
Sure. I think, and I was having this thought in my head on the drive over here, actually. I was like, this one thing I think that would be pertinent to me would be hiring like a personal assistant.
Okay.
Somebody that I could just hand my phone calls off to and my scheduling off to.
Yeah. That's usually the best first hire.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is weird because, I mean, like, I did all these shoots in Moscow yesterday. I was out of town. Service is all wacky. You know, you get back into town.
Yeah.
And you just got like 30 texts and phone calls.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And you have a deadline to meet by tomorrow morning. I'm like, what becomes the priority at that point? And just being able to offset that or give that to somebody else, I think would release a lot of tension.
If you had to be conservative and realistic, about how many minutes a day or how many hours are spent scheduling or dealing with admin work?
Yeah.
Or dealing with something on the computer that you could have somebody that maybe only needs a week or two of training handle.
Yeah. Honestly, about 2 to 3 hours a day.
2 to 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's with like just double checking with clients, making sure things went well, you know, scheduling, getting emails, getting addresses, verifying property lines, like the whole gambit basically.
Okay. So let's break this down a little bit. Last month, was an unusually good month.
Yeah, very good.
And you don't be like most people and be like, I'm going to make 18 grand every month now. But it was a
set
good
me a
month.
beacon. I'm like, okay, that's
set you
like
a
what I
new-
can do.
That's what you could do by yourself.
Yeah, on an operational business, it's
But if you were saving a couple hours a day, don't necessarily think about taking on more work,
Right.
but relieving some of that stress, that burnout. What would it actually cost you money wise per month, and how much would that dig in to your bottom line
sure.
if you were to hire just to start a part-time employee, somebody that maybe works remotely or comes into an office, and all the calls and all the emails, everything, instead of going to you, all the text messages, they get forwarded to this other person. And they handle your calendar. They know when you've said that you're available to work and you've blocked off your personal time.
Yeah.
And so they can just they can schedule for you, and they can use, you've instructed them to use common sense when it comes to if you're having me go to plumber one day,
Right.
don't in the same day have me 2 hours later up in Bonner's Ferry.
Common sense doesn't actually work with real estate agents, by the way.
I'm not talking about real estate agents.
Yeah. But like on my end, somebody will schedule a shoot on Wednesday for Kellogg. And then the next day, somebody's like, it has to be Thursday. Tenants are only available Thursday. So then I'm like, now I'm going out there twice. And that's, there's no real managing that, unfortunately. And I've tried to optimize that as best as I can. But a lot of times people...
Why would you go out there twice? For the same person?
No, for different people. So say like one client's like, yeah, I need it on Wednesday, right? So I schedule on a Wednesday. Another client's like, my clients aren't available in Kellogg on Wednesday. I can only do Thursday.
Yeah.
Right. So then it becomes like, okay, now I'm making 2 trips, which is fine. I charge 2 drive charges at that point. Like, I'll do it. But like optimizing route is very tough.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I mean, just again, realtors are particular. That's just kind of part of the business, and that's okay.
Yeah. But if you can figure it out, do you think somebody else could too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I'm getting.
At least close enough where it's like, yeah, you don't have to schedule them on the same day, but like do your best, of course.
Yeah. I think some entrepreneurs get trapped in this mindset of that they can do everything better than everyone, or not everything, but they can do certain things in their business better than anyone. But I think you've just got to let go of that mindset and just know that there's always somebody out there that can do something better than I could.
For sure.
And the trick is to find the right person and to be patient and hire, slow, fire quick.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel like you would actually want to hire somebody and take on that liability of providing for somebody's well-being with a paycheck?
And it's very possible. I think right now, being in the thick of like, and just to clarify, like, I'm not burnt out right now, but I'm walking a line, I think. Like, I'm like, oh,
yeah.
There's feelings of panic, and there's feelings of like, am I going to be able to follow through with this? Feelings of failure if I don't do it, right?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of common, of course, but walking a line for sure. What was the question? Oh, well, could I actually hire somebody?
Could you hire somebody and not freak out that you've committed to paying what is it, part-time salary, a couple $1,000 a month or $4,000 a month?
Yeah.
Whatever, if that's full-time.
Right.
Do you think you can commit to $2,000 a month and not, at the end of the year go bankrupt?
Right now, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you think it might help make your business more efficient and more attractive for people to use you more or less, or do you think it would stay the same?
It's a good question. I think with my business in particular, I am the face of the business.
Hey, quick commercial break here. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I really do appreciate it. If you want to give back, let me help you buy a house, or I can help you sell a house. It's the only way I make money when I'm not investing in real estate. I don't make money on this podcast or the events I do, but I do make money only when I help people buy and sell houses. So if you're looking for your next investment and you're here in North Idaho, I want to help you personally. If you are not in North Idaho, I can still help you out. I have a vast network of referral partners all across the country, and I can find the right real estate investor savvy agent for you so you don't have to. It doesn't cost you a thing. Thank you for your support. Back to the show.
Of course. So like people like working with me, and that's why they keep coming back, because they like me. It's not about the photos, it's about me for the most part. Like I'm the ambassador of this business. Anybody can do what I do, which is people.
But what if they called somebody and they had an even friendlier person on the phone that schedules their stuff?
That'd be pretty cool.
Even friendlier than you. But you're still the face of it when you come out and do the shoots.
Yeah.
But Like, is that something that you think you can handle?
Yeah.
If you found the right person?
I do.
Have you started looking?
No, dude, I've been almost working probably 17, 18 hours a day right now.
Yeah.
And like I sleep and then I get up and I fix stuff and I finish stuff and I send it off and I go right the hell back out.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's been crazy, but it's been good. Like, again, it's a blessing to be able to do this.
Could you use just a scheduling service?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you looked into that at all?
I have not.
Okay. I think we should look into it after the podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
And just see if you could just dip your toes in the water of somebody else taking calls and text and emails.
Sure.
The nice thing about having an employee is that they can do other things too.
Right. And that's where I was like,
And they can start really, if you found the right person, they can dial in your website more during downtime.
Yeah.
They can organize your equipment. They can make sure your shit's charged at home. And, if you just drop your stuff off, maybe they can start, sending stuff off to the editors.
Sure.
I would imagine that there's so much you can offload that you're not even thinking of.
Sure.
And all those things that you should be doing, you can have somebody else do it just by saying, do this.
Right.
These are things I've been meaning to do for 2 or 3 years.
This is your job description.
Yeah. And if you can't figure it out, just Google it or ChatGPT it, and then it will help tell you what to do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of good training tools out there that you don't even have to invent.
Yeah. That's a very good point. I think and I thought about this too. We had this kind of when we had an employee with Ginger Snap.
Yeah.
Like, I drop off the photos and stuff, but I don't think there was the effort, the oomph that we needed.
Yeah.
From that particular employee, and that's okay. But just even now, thinking,
well, it's just one person,
right? Yeah. But thinking right now, okay, if I have to drop off this memory card or these photo shoots to somebody else, that's just another place I have to get to, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm up in Bonners Ferry and they're in Post Falls and I live in Rathdrum, right? So that's an extra hour on my drive. Which at that point I might as well just import the stuff.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons to it, as for sure. But I'm sure we could find a way to optimize that.
Yeah. And even things like the great thing about having an employee, they don't have to know everything either. Like when we just recently switched databases again as a brokerage to a new database, and it came with a nice website.
Ooh.
And we currently have a Wix website for our stuff that's kind of clunky, but it works.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to have one website where it's also this great search and a back end has a CRM and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And just use one. And we have the ability to take this website that's connected to our CRM and add pages to it and do everything that our current exterior website does, but make it even better all on one. And I've been telling our manager, our employee, I want this done. I want, stop paying for Wix.
Yeah.
Get everything transferred to this, make it nice. And I want all the same stuff. And I've been hounding her to do it for a month and a half.
Yeah.
And she just can't figure it out. And I don't blame her. I tried playing with it too. It's supposed to be an easy drag and drop and that kind of stuff, but it's actually kind of difficult if you're not a web designer or you don't really know what you're doing. It's harder for me, and I'm even a tech guy, but I just, after a while, you could just simply say, and I just told her, I'm like, all right, I still want it done. Just hire somebody on Fiverr. Yeah. You can spend up to $300. Just have somebody else do it. Just make sure this is done and this is done and this is done.
Yeah, these are the main points.
There's still work to be done. They're hiring somebody to do it, but at least you can. The nice thing about having someone sit in an office, is that they can, even if they can't figure out that, you can at least give them the guidance or the budget to have somebody else figure it out. This is what I want. Right. Make sure you relay that message.
Yeah, yeah.
Go through, and she went through 20 different people, messaging them until she found the right one.
Crazy.
So. Anyway, just a little example of how nice it is to have somebody in the office to always tell, whatever you think should be done with your business, you can tell them to do it. And if they can't figure it out, you can tell them to figure it out in other ways.
Right. Yeah. I love that. No, and that's a really good point. And again, I think I've came leaps and bounds as far as what I'm willing to let go of in the business. Obviously sending out the photos to virtual editors has saved me an incredible amount of time.
Yeah. But it still takes time.
But it still takes time, yes.
That and getting them back and doing your final touches.
Yep.
Are the final touches that you do, is it complete art, or is it something that somebody can watch you for a few days do it and then take over?
Not a complete art at all. what I do.
Could you essentially then just, you go on your shoots, you just look at your calendar, you don't really communicate with anybody, and then you have instructions on what to do when you get there. You do it, and then you drop off your equipment. You just drop off your equipment, and that person, she or he, takes out the cards and starts doing everything from there and sends off to the editors and charges your stuff.
Yeah.
That way you can just drop off your stuff and go be with your family or do whatever.
Yeah.
And just go on these appointments. Could you get to that stage, you think?
Very possibly. I think with videos in particular, a lot of people like how I do my videos, and I have not found, and I've actually looked, I have not found a virtual editor who can do the edit the way I do it.
Okay.
Which is fine. But like videos take a lot of time. So maybe I like the idea of having somebody available to schedule. I think with the uploading or the dropping off the equipment, this would just depend on the person, right? Like, this is something I'm in control of, which is cool, but also it takes the time. In the event that, like,
Could you train on your videos?
I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even if it took a month?
Yeah. I just
And
don't know
then
if I have
somebody
like
can do
that time right now to do that. You know what I mean?
Well, you would free up some time if you, if you took 2 to 3 hours a day off your plate with that other stuff.
Yeah.
I think then you would have the time to invest in more training to free up more time.
Sure.
Because what I've learned over is like wealthy entrepreneurs, like they start becoming obsessed with buying their time back.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, with money or resources or being more efficient, and that's like almost all they focus on is like bringing in more revenue, but yet like how do you still free up the time,
right,
by leveraging and getting other people to help, present the product. You know,
absolutely,
just an idea.
No, absolutely, I appreciate it. And again,
because what's the alternative? You just you're going to get burnt out and start freaking out on your wife and hitting your baby.
I'm going to start.
Well, you will continue to. You will continue to.
This is not a present tense, by the way. No, that's a good idea. The thing I worry about with that stuff, and this is probably a hypothetical, of course. Like, I drop off all my equipment, have them charge it, have them do this. Say they forget something. Say they forget to charge something.
Yeah. Have you ever forgot?
Yes.
Okay. Continue.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Like, but that's on me because like it's something that I know. I'm like, damn it, I fucking didn't do this, right?
Right.
And
but if it's like one of their 4 jobs,
right,
is to charge the stuff. if you have a very clear checklist, that they have to do every day, and there's one fresh sheet, and I know this is prehistoric, but it works. But if you printed off one piece of paper for every day and just said, and it had a checklist, make sure you just check off everything before you leave. And one of the items was charge my shit. Right. Make sure everything's on chargers. Right. You know, and they get used to that. Yeah. And then they do that for 60 days. And then it becomes an ingrained habit where they don't forget. Right. And then maybe they don't have to do the check mark. But then it'd be great if when they leave and somebody else comes on board, there's that checklist, and then they can train, or you quit or get fired. And then you just have that checklist again. You don't have to retrain. Right. Just follow this. Yeah. Do these things throughout the day and you won't get fired. For sure. You know? Yeah. Make it simple. I like that. Yeah, just schematically, it seems like it would be kind of like last night. Like, I got home at almost 7, right? Like, I'd have to find an employee that's open to working past 7 in order to charge my shit on a night like that. Yeah. Otherwise, if I hand them off all my chargers and I expect it to be done and they're not on the clock or they're busy for whatever reason, then I have to go pick up the stuff. Then I have to bring it back. Then I have to plug it in. Then I have to charge it. And then it becomes a problem. And is coming home at 7 something that you should be doing? No. Okay. It's a rarity. Maybe you should cut that out. Yeah. You know, just an idea, because if it's not within business hours, you are going to be pressed. You're going to be working harder than you should. Yeah, no, absolutely. Because you're not going to have that help that works 9 to 5. Right. You know. And yesterday was a weird scenario, of course, since I was out of town doing 4 shoots at once. Right. Yeah. I took all 4 specifically knowing that I could take 4. Yeah. Like, let's maximize the hell out of that day. Can you just have a clause or like an expectation? Hey, if we're going an hour outside Coeur d'Alene, it could take up to 2 days to get your stuff back. Sure. Or a day and a half. Yeah. I think most people would understand that. Yeah. Could take a day and a half. Right. Because it's going to take, just getting back after business hours. Yep. You don't expect me to work at midnight on your project, right? It could, I'll get to it the next business morning. Yeah. A lot of people, I think, will understand that. For sure. Yeah. But there's the wife goes to bed pretty early, and when she goes to bed, I'm like, well, she's got to stop that. Well, I guess I'll work. You're still married? Yeah. Oh, wow. I forget all about her. Yeah. Continue. I'm not going to tell her you said that. That's going to give her anxiety. I'm joking, Sam. Calm down. Jesus.
Jesus. No, but so for like obviously on the brink of a burnout, which is fine. I feel like my head's above water, which is great.
Yeah.
What do you do when you are burnt out? Like, do you take a vacation? Do you put your mind
Exercise.
elsewhere? Exercise?
That's what I do. I like to if I'm there's like three things. I used to a while ago before I had like a VR. I would play Grand Theft Auto at night.
Yeah.
And I would get my rage or anxiety out or burnout by just, killing 1,000 civilians.
You are a psychopath.
in a virtual game
Yeah.
called Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
And you feel pretty good by the end of the night and go to bed just fine. And then I started, playing the
Blade and sorcery.
yeah, well, before that, it was like this, it was a VR game. It was The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just killing zombies at night and you get actually good exercise.
Yeah.
And then or in the morning, I did in the mornings too. And it was just, it was a great stress reliever to just kill zombies for an hour.
I would love to just watch a live stream of you playing one of these games because you are like a madman when you play these games.
I know. Well, that's what I'm just saying. This is what helps me relieve
Right.
stress. Tony Robbins might say, listen to some music and work out.
Right.
Pump some iron. This I feel like it just works a little bit even better than that.
Yeah.
Or go on a run, go on a hike. There's other things I've done other than just video games murdering people.
I guess.
Campfield's right near. If it's during the summer, it's so easy to de-stress because the weather's beautiful and you can just go on a hike.
Yeah,
and I can usually get work done while I'm hiking, and that worked really well for me in 2022, 23. I was on hikes almost every day for 2 years during the summers. And I can get a lot of work done with headphones on and just on calls. But I'm out in nature, hiking, getting
really
exercise, getting in the sun. That helped de-stress me like crazy.
Yeah.
Because I was really stressed out.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I mean, in your scenario, you don't have all this time on your hands to just go out hiking. You've got to get stuff done. You've got to shoot. Maybe if I was in your shoes, if you're not going to hire another photographer, I don't know, maybe you're at the point where you can. How much did you make the month before in March-ish, if you had to guess? Rough gross. 11,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been like pretty damn busy lately.
How much business over the last couple of months? How many times did you lose a shoot just because you didn't have time? How many shoots?
One.
About just one.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of months.
Just you guys.
Just us.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Well, that's better than I thought.
Yeah. No, I've been, again, with me telling people like I can't do it this day, but I can do it this day, right? So
How much sleep are you getting?
Tons.
Yeah. Well, I know you have a.
I'm not.
Is your baby sleeping through the night, right?
Yeah, she's great. I usually go to bed at about 11:30, wake up about 6. So I'm not like doing bad.
But you're still not getting a full 7+ hours of sleep. So I noticed it like if you can get at least 7 hours of sleep, that will really help
For sure.
with your stress levels.
Yeah.
So try to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
Well, what's weird? Like before yesterday and today, like I was not stressed out. I was super freaking busy.
Yeah.
But like now the stress, like I don't know if it's just like a wave that hit me, but I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I'm overwhelmed.
Now let's go in because before we started this podcast, you mentioned that somebody else just got out of the business and just handed you all their business, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
A good photographer, good person. He called me up and he's an opportunity came his way for him to do something else in real estate. And he took it, but in order for him to take it, they required him to be on full time and not take shoots anymore.
Okay.
So we had about an hour call, just an interview, seeing how I handle business, handle my clients. And he's like, I would love to give all my clientele to you.
All right. How many clients is that?
He doesn't have a lot, but a lot of his clients are heavy hitters.
Okay.
So not a lot of clients, but they do a lot of business, if that makes sense.
If you had to guess, how many more shoots could this add per week?
Good question.
Or month?
So already,
assuming you had all the time in the world.
probably 10 to probably about 25 shoots a month.
Okay.
Maybe more.
Now, you may not want to do this, but it sounds like I think you're ready to start hiring people.
Yeah.
And I mean multiple people.
Yeah.
Hire an admin, hire another photographer. as quick as you can.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to, don't do it.
Sure.
But I think you are in the perfect growth stage to hurry up and try to find someone who's capable that you'll work well with.
Yeah.
You know, somebody like Dylan, or
Yeah.
somebody that you can relate to that's also has a good attitude.
Mm-hmm.
That's also kind of good with a camera. They don't have to, you can teach them.
Yeah.
They can just. I don't think it's going to actually kill too much time because they can just be in your car and follow you.
Right.
And be training with you for a couple of weeks and go on your shoots.
Yeah.
Until eventually they can go on their own and you can work some sort of, either they're an employee or they get a split of everything.
Yeah.
And then, that if I was in your position, I would focus on that. And at the same time, try to find someone that will help with the scheduling.
Sure.
But I think more importantly, try to find another photographer as well.
Sure. Yeah. And the thought has crossed my mind.
Because I think it might even be more crucial to take your time hiring the right admin than another photographer. Because I think you won't have too hard of a time finding a good photographer if you just put out a few Facebook posts,
right,
and just say, "Hey, we're super busy. We can use another photographer.
Yeah,
I'm hiring now."
Could be could be full time, could be seasonal.
What do you think about that?
Mixed feelings about it right now.
Okay.
Again, like me being the ambassador of my business, which is great. Like training somebody to uphold the standards that I have.
Yep.
Which, of course, that's what training is, right? You hire quick, hire slow, fire quick, right?
What are the odds that you find someone who's better than you?
At business or at photography?
Photography.
I could do that. We could probably do that.
Yeah. Someone who's just got maybe more of an artistic eye, or it was just like so laser like they're obsessed with it.
Yeah.
They're obsessed with photography.
Sure.
But they have zero business skills.
Right.
I think there's people out there like that.
And to kind of go
that
into,
just want appointments.
Sure. And to kind of go into what you were talking about before the episode as well, I think like if I found somebody like that, would I just like train them how to do a business and let them go? Like you guys are trying to do the school thing where you train to do people how you're doing, right?
No, this would be a little different.
Yeah. But like
Yeah.
I could almost like franchise this thing out, or I could be almost like a mentor.
Yeah, and I mean, I would just try to just have an employee.
Yeah.
That works for you. That find somebody that has zero ambition to do their own thing.
Sure.
But loves to take photos and wants to work.
Right.
And just doesn't. They just need a job, right. and they're great at photography, but they would never, left to their own devices, start their own business, because that kind of takes a different animal.
I'm learning.
Yeah, I think there's people out there like that.
Sure. Yeah.
And it might be, you might have to set some expectations, like, hey, in the winter time, things might slow down a lot, might not be as busy.
Sure.
But maybe you can take on more opportunity, make more money, and work less, and also feel pretty good about yourself that you're like also like helping somebody provide an income.
Yeah.
Else, just knowing that there's a lot of real estate agents in this area, and you don't have a whole lot of competition.
I mean, the competition I do have is pretty good. Like I love them. They're
pretty good.
They're all good people, and they do good work. I'm glad. Like I'm trying to also. I don't know why I have all these dumb ideas about like doing more things.
Yeah.
But like almost trying to find I don't even know how to put it, like a real estate photographers like group where we kind of help each other. And I think I've talked about this before on the podcast, but like almost being, if somebody's overwhelmed, we can show up as an ambassador of the other person's business, not as a representative of our own.
Yeah.
But finding people who would understand that, like, and adhere to that. Like, we're not here to steal each other's business. We're here to help each other when they need it, right?
Yeah. If you had your Ginger Snap media running by other people, and you were barely involved with it at all, and you had one or two photographers that were out doing all the appointments and a great scheduler that everyone loves to talk to.
Yeah.
And it's you can choose to come in or not, and you get $5-10 a month. Do you think you can be happy with that, or would that not be an ideal situation?
I think the idea of happiness with that, I don't know how that looks, and that's okay. Right now, like I'm loving grinding. I really am like loving like grinding. It's cool looking at it, and like the business is making a shitload of money right now, which is cool.
Yeah.
I'm W-2'd myself, so I make like a very modest salary. But then I see the business growing and I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I was telling Sam, I'm like, I'm working a lot, but like in a year I could just pay off your student loans.
Uh-huh.
And that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I could do that and other things just because like we're making a lot of money.
Other than paying off for student loans, do you have any other financial goals?
I want to pay off our student loans to make it easier for us to get another investment without like over encumbering us.
Okay.
So
What else?
her car.
The car?
Yep. Just I'm Dave Ramsey in it right now.
Okay.
Just getting rid of the garbage.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you're comfortable making this your job long term.
I am. Yeah. I have a good time with it. Like I love what I do, to be honest with you. I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like I get to be a cool help to my peers.
Yeah.
And I get to provide a really cool service, and I get to be a face of that.
Yeah. So based off what you told me, maybe, I mean, you just got to take less work.
Yeah.
And be okay with some people dropping you.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's not the right idea then to just start hiring more people. I think you can.
Yeah. An
I think you're
admin
at
would
that
still make
point.
sense, I think. Like maybe not a photographer, but like an admin definitely is like,
Yeah.
that could, that's allowing me to still be in the field, have conversations, meet with cool people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's definitely what my first goal would be.
All right. Anybody out there have an admin for Jeremy? Anyone?
Anyone? Hello?
Anyone?
Hello?
I don't
No.
have-
So
I don't
like
have a
obviously like
live chat.
with burnout and stuff too, I think it's important to take a minute away from your business. And I listen to self-help books when I drive all the time, which is great. Break some bottles by Wallace.
Oh, we do have a chat. Brandon,
Aw.
you break bottles.
Yeah.
Wait, what was that movie from?
That's from
Haggard?
Jackass.
Haggard?
Haggard, yeah.
Haggard. Okay.
No, yeah, but like taking breaks is important. Checking in with your loved ones is very important. Like spending time with your family is important.
Mm-hmm.
And making sure you have enough time to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it sounds like you don't have much.
I have a little bit. I'm doing my best. So Saturday, Sam and I are actually going up to Sam's parents' property.
Uh-huh.
And I've been like karate chopping shoots left and right to stay away from Saturday.
Okay. Do you usually schedule on the weekends now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. I remember when you started back up Ginger Snap, you didn't want to do weekends or go outside Kootenai County.
Yeah, I did.
That's changed.
Business evolves, my friend. I think we all know that.
Yeah. Just I'm like, I don't ever want to flip a house again. And I'm doing 4 of them.
We're bad at what we say. No, absolutely. I did say that, and you're right. But again, business evolves, and when you get to this point where you're like, okay, like I've been putting logs on this fire for so long, now this fire is like piping hot,
Yeah.
right? And the momentum feels really good. Like I'm working hard, and it feels good to work hard. It feels good to provide a service,
Yeah.
and it feels good to watch the account grow. It's like it's for something,
Yeah.
So it's good. And again, burnout is, I think a lot of entrepreneurs go through it, especially if you have an operational business or if you are the guy or the girl in your business. Like you're going to get to a point where you're just overwhelmed, and making sure that you take time for yourself. And I'm saying this now, not to you, to myself as well, right? This is advice that I can use.
Mm-hmm.
Take time for yourself, take time for your family, take time for a hobby, like something you love that's outside of work, outside of your family.
Card shows.
I guess I do that. I go make more money when I'm not busy.
Yeah. Pretty good at flipping cards.
Thanks. I thought about starting another LLC and just making it a big time thing.
Yeah. When's the next card show?
I don't know. I'm taking a break from that.
Okay. Well, let me know if you need help.
I will. Absolutely.
That'd be fun.
So you're not feeling burnt out in your business right now?
Me, no.
No. It seems like you're making really good traction on a lot of your stuff, and you've got some of your flips going on the market right now, correct?
Yeah, I got that flip that you shot last week. It's under contract.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. The one in Bonner's Ferry?
Yep.
Very good.
Yep. And then there's another one up there. But like, yeah, I'm pretty well leveraged, I
Sure.
guess you can say, in a good way.
Yeah.
Right now. I have 3 flips going on, and then a development, and then we closed on 5 properties this week in our real estate sales business.
Nice.
And it on the surface, or like from the outside, it might look like there's a shit ton of stuff going on. Like, how do I have any time?
Sure.
But dude, I cannot complain. I don't do much.
Right.
I mean, I started a new business last week, and I've been mostly focusing on that.
I love it.
And that's, building that mastermind course out. But I feel like it's been a long time coming of me like trying to. So like with the flipping houses, I finally figured out I don't have to go to Lowe's every day.
Yeah.
I can actually hook up the Lowe's manager and the contractor, which is either Sean or Sam.
Sure.
You guys talk to each other. You know how the finishes I want.
Yeah.
Deal with each other to get everything done, and then we're using the same paint colors as the other house.
Yeah.
Same exterior paint colors, the same finishes, the same black hardware on the doors. Like we don't even have to talk anymore.
I love it.
When Sean calls me, it's more just to give me updates, and I'm just like, yep, all right, cool, yep, that sounds good. Like, thanks, Sean, bye. And like I don't have to tell him much. Like, the development that we're doing, I've done a development before, so I'm not like in mad research phase.
Yeah.
Like I know what's the next step. We're just waiting for city council.
Cool. That's where you kind of left it
to,
at the last podcast, right? You were just kind of waiting for city council still? Okay.
Yeah, we got approved through P&Z, I think, maybe.
P&Z?
Planning and zoning.
Oh,
the Planning and Zoning.
Planning and Zoning.
Planning and Zoning Commission approved us.
Got it.
So now we're just waiting for our date with city council.
Cool.
Yeah. And then with our real estate sales business, I try to hand off most of it to people on our team. Mm-hmm. Sabra's complete. She's a licensed assistant. She's capable of doing almost everything. I mean, I get texts from my clients asking me to do stuff, and I hover over the text and hold on to it.
So you copy it,
and I hit the copy button, and then I go to Sabra and I paste it, and I say, "This is from blank.
Yeah,
please help."
and
I send that, and then my memory wipes anything away that has to do with whatever just I got text.
It basically didn't happen.
Yes.
Okay. I love it.
And when I get emails that I see Sabre isn't copied on and she can help with it, I just forward it to her.
Okay.
I have hundreds of bills every month.
Sure.
I make sure that the bills are all coming on auto pay, auto drafted through certain accounts that they should be coming on. And I just kind of perfect that stuff.
Yeah.
Every week or two, I go through my QuickBooks and I make sure that things are categorized properly into their right, projects.
Yeah.
So I've become, where a few years ago, just a couple 3 years ago, whatever, all this stuff would have been massively, it would have been hard and time consuming to do every little thing, every little component, buy every little screw that goes to a house. And now it's just, I've done it so many times that it's just on autopilot. Yeah. And I have a lot more time throughout the day than people think. Yeah. And getting a lot done and making a lot of money.
That's great.
I've got it pretty good right now. We'll see how long it lasts.
Well, keep treating your people good and stop yelling at them if you're burnout. And I think that really helps.
I did stop yelling for the most part.
For the most part. Okay.
I don't know. I think I did.
When's the last time you yelled at somebody?
Oh,
or like you freaked out?
It's been days.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're like in a recovery program. That's really good.
It's been days since
Two-day
I've yelled at somebody. No, I have no idea.
Okay.
It's since I've yelled at somebody, it's been a while. At least a year.
Okay.
I think. Did I yell at you?
I don't think so.
Okay. If I did, I'm sorry. I try not to freak out on people anymore.
I wouldn't come here if you were just a total dick to me always.
True. Yeah, that's a good way to get people to sue you too.
Yeah. You know that.
Yeah. I yelled at somebody and then I got a lawsuit.
I love that there's no context to that story. Like, I yelled at somebody and then I got a lawsuit. That could be the name of a book.
That was part of it.
I yelled at you.
This person did. And hey, it's all done.
Right.
We were finally settled and stuff. But this person and her husband, we were partnered on projects and they literally embezzled tons of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars missed from a bank account. And then months later, we found out that they didn't pay like $500,000 worth of bills, $560,000 worth of bills. And yeah, I might have freaked out a little bit.
What?
And then instead of thanks, Nick, for like stepping in and taking care of all the issues, I got hit with a lawsuit and then more lawsuits.
If you ever decide to make a memoir about that whole thing,
yeah.
I yelled at you and then you sued me is a good title.
Yeah.
I freaked out, and then you called your lawyer.
By the way,
I know.
I won in court.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
There were multiple lawsuits.
You're
Felt good.
multiple.
Finally done.
You're the 3 times winner champion of the lawsuits.
Yep.
We got to get you one of the belts like you had for Nert.
But if I didn't yell at her and treat her like garbage, maybe the lawsuits wouldn't have come. Who knows?
That's the butterfly effect, my friend.
Yeah. Who knows? So try to behave yourselves out there, guys. That's all I can say.
Try to behave yourselves. Don't yell at people. Yeah. If you're feeling burnt out in business, again, just take a step back. I think that's the best way to handle it. And don't
freak out. Don't be a douchebag.
Right. Brandon Turner always said a really good thing I like in business. He's like, you've got your family ball and your business ball. Your family ball's made of glass. Yeah. Business ball's made of rubber.
Business can always bounce back.
Business can always bounce back. And it's
your family, when you drop that ball, it could shatter and never get put back together again.
Yeah. You ever try to tape back a ball that breaks?
Sucks.
It's hard.
Real hard.
Really bothers me. Awesome. Well, I think that's all we have, unless you have anything else you wanted to add, Nick.
I think that's a good way to end it. Hey guys, next week we're gonna have another podcast, so please tune in.
We will. We promise you. If it's not on live, you will still see it because we are months ahead.
We are months ahead. We're trying to slow these podcasts down.
Are we?
I don't know.
It's just busy.
We're just doing it.
Yeah.
Some people like it. We have less subscribers these days, so congratulations.
if you were subscribed and you're no longer subscribed, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Even though you won't see it because you're not subscribed.
There's a lot of good content out there. It's hard to compete. So we're lucky with the 7 viewers that we get.
Yeah, we love you.
7 listeners.
I actually love you more than Nick does. Nick loves it when we have low numbers. I'm like, I actually like it. Gives me a little dopamine boost when I see that number kind of go up.
Well, that my anxiety goes up. I'm like, oh, more people to please.
Oh, great.
I like when the numbers go down because I'm like, good, a more niche crowd.
Or they just haven't figured out how to unsubscribe yet.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
We love you.
Thank you so much for checking out the Investor Shed podcast. If you enjoyed your time, make sure to leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow along on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at The Investor Shed for shorts and promos about each episode. Do you want to be a guest or know someone who has great real estate investing advice and stories? Reach out to us at theinvestorshed@gmail.com.